Last life, I was the only disciple of a famous mentor in the industry, holding a code condensed by countless sleepless nights, determined to change my destiny. However, my boyfriend at the time, Ajax Augustus, mixed a large number of sleeping pills into the drink, which plunged me into a coma from which I could not wake up. He took the opportunity to steal my code dedicated to the company's beautiful programmer, Belle Maximus, who was known as a genius. At the company meeting, colleagues looked at each other, suspicious of our nearly identical code. Belle feigned disappointment and sneered, "It's really chilling that little girl's plagiarized by any means." The scandal quickly spread across the internet, and Belle fanboys flooded in, digging up my personal information and threatening justice for the genius programmer. In desperation, I had to give up everything and flee everywhere, always unable to get rid of their pursuit. Eventually they found me, brutally stabbed and dumped me in a dark alley. It seemed like a reincarnation, and I was reborn back to the time known 2 days before I finished writing the code. Looking at the milk cup handed by Ajax, my mouth had a sneer. I pretended to close my eyes and listen to whispers and moans from the next room. Put sleeping pills in her milk. Of course, she had no doubt and drank, ate obediently, like an innocent little lamb. She should be sleeping like a rock by now. Come on, kiss. Great. She writes code that no one else in the company can match. Don't forget, she can barely support me, she's useless. My boyfriend, Ajax Augustus, the man for whom I had given everything in a previous life, was making love to Belle, making no secret of their disdain and contempt. In a previous life, I was addicted to him, willing to assume all the responsibilities, working overtime day and night, even 3 or 4 hours of sleep did not crave, just to complete the code. However, he had already colluded with Belle, the genius, in the eyes of the company, and revealed my efforts in the location of my residence to her fanatical fans. Now back, I quickly replaced the code on my computer while pretending to sip the milk he handed me. The real code has been safely stored in USB, and we plan to complete the final changes in the internet cafe and submit it next Monday. As for Bear, let her humiliate herself at the conference with that deliberately messed up code. 3 days later, the boss learned that Belle had finished the code, ahead of schedule, and praised her in front of new employees. Look at this real genius. The company paid a lot of money for her and it was worth it. Who of you can match her talent, or her beauty? I smiled coldly in the corner. The higher they lift her, the harder she'll fall. When Belle showed up a full half hour late for the meeting, the boss, for the first time in his life, did not get angry, but looked down and smiled. Belle looked around, the corners of his mouth curled scornfully, and said coldly, "Why, you guys can't even handle basic code, and you want me to do it myself?" She opened the file slowly, and the screen showed the code I had carefully modified at the internet cafe. My heart sank, as if I were in a whirlpool of shock. How could she have gotten my version? However, it was the perfect operation of this code that led to applause in the conference room. Of course, it's a beautiful genius, it's amazing. Wow, to be able to do that, a genius's brain is really extraordinary. The honor that should have belonged to me, in the eyes of the admiring public, was firmly in her hands. With a triumphant smile, Belle pointed at me. "I heard that you also wrote this code. Why don't you show it to everyone and let them comment?" I gnashed my teeth. In a previous life, I tried to compete with her by showing my code on the spot. However, when one side is hailed as a genius beauty, on the other side is a little-known clerk, people's prejudice has already doomed the result. Fate gives me another chance, and I won't risk it. The eyes were on me, and the whispers in my ears came like a storm. Her? How could a newcomer be so good? Is she bluffing? Belle's still talking to her. If it were me, I'd be hiding. Just wait and see how she ends up. The harsh voice cut into my heart like a knife blade, and the smile hung stiffly on the mouth. Yeah, you're really good. Inevitably, the taunts around me came to my ears, but I just watched them coldly, waiting for the moment to strike back. Strong woman.